Okay, so hello world. Thanks for listening. Today I'm going to record, make English episode. Since the last English episode, that was October 13th, so about a month ago. That was episode 25. And now this one is the 13th episode, meaning that we have 4 Japanese podcast episodes. First of all, why don't we summarize? I don't know, it's a good idea or not, but because, I'm living in a normal life, so I have nothing special in a month kind of thing. So, I need to reuse the topic I talk. So that's why I recap my Japanese podcast in English, okay? So the 26th episode I recorded. I'm using Anchor for this podcast program. And one of the reasons why I start this personal podcast entitled Music and Math, one of the reasons is that I saw news that Anchor was acquired by Spotify a few years ago, I think. So now Spotify is the running company, and the Spotify, as you know, is the music streaming service company, and they start the service called the Music+Talk service, where the podcaster can use commercial music available on the Spotify streaming service legally, and that is interesting. The move, I think, for this podcast. It's always a trouble when you make this audio content. You want to use BGM or the music, or you want to sometimes talk about the music you love kind of thing. So, but legally speaking, so far we cannot use the music. So that's a kind of frustration. My choice was that, okay, don't use those commercial music. I made another podcast program that is another, the community I'm hosting. The name is Zenkei AI Forum, focuses on the computer technology and especially deep learning AI stuff. So I have some experience before this personal podcast program, like 2 years ago, the podcast. So my choice was that, okay, don't use music on the program. But this Music+Talk service provide a podcaster to use the commercial music on their own episode program. So that is one thing I start this personal podcast program. So the 26th episode is this Music+Talk episode, meaning that it's a kind of radio show type program, a kind of DJing. It's a normal music program. So I set some theme for each this Music+Talk episode, and on that theme I select usually 10 or so songs, and just play and a short comment in between. That's the format of my Music+Talk episode. And the 26th episode, I pick up Louis Cole. He is one of my favorite musicians lately, and he just released new album, and I picked a few of them from that album, as well as his classic songs and some other related songs in my line of listening. So how many songs I play on that episode? Let me check. Yeah, okay. 9 songs, actually, I played. Yes. And as I said, one of the reasons why I limit the number of songs using in one episode is like around 10 is that if I put like 20s, the length of the episode goes beyond 1 hour. The last 26th episode, the length of the total time is 53 minutes. So yeah, that's the reason. That's the format. But there is something, there is a kind of a story or the reason I pick up those songs. And I like to talk here. And usually this podcast program, as you can see, that always the Music plus Talk episode is followed by talk episode related to the explaining why I pick those songs. I call it urakai. Urakai meaning that it's a backstory kind of implication. So the 27th episode was a kind of talk about the last Lewis Cole Music plus Talk episode. It's surprising, but this 27th episode, the length of the episode is 44 minutes. There, I don't play any music, just I'm talking. And I'm talking 44 minutes. It's crazy. But anyway, and this, Anchor's or Spotify's Music Plus Talk framework is good for creators who can make a music program legally, and I really enjoy that. But for the listener, if you want to listen to the entire music, you need to be a premium member of the Spotify. Otherwise, you can just listen to the highlight. That will be just 30 seconds or so, I think. So, meaning that normal users, Spotify users, cannot enjoy my Music plus Talk episode. And I don't like that. So usually I create YouTube playlist picking up exact same lineup. So if you go to my playlist, you can listen the song entirely. Usually YouTube also legally provide entire music these days. So I usually create a playlist. And I usually put extra songs on the playlist. Yeah, because YouTube user, listener can just skip and whatever. They can choose whatever song you want to play. So I don't care about the length of entire playlist duration. That's the idea. So I put the extra songs. In the talk episode 27th, I also explain those extra songs. Why I put that. There is some connection to the main selection, of course. And as I said, 9 songs or 10, around that, I need to drop some other songs. So I just put it and I talk about that episode too. And that was 27th episode. Yeah, as I said, I talk in Japanese, so you cannot enjoy maybe the talk, but at least you can enjoy the music. So if you're interested in Lewis Cole at this time, please listen to that. And the next episode was piano episode. Right now, in this podcast program, Music and Talk podcast, I talk a couple of types of episode. One of them is this English version. And as I said, Music plus Talk episode is one of that. And Urakai, talking about the Music plus Talk selections, are let's say, the third one. And the fourth, okay, in that way, I have 5 types. Fourth category is featuring my piano practice talk, as well as I usually put my playing, the practicing clip in the episode too. That was 28th. And obviously, in this line of episode, you can imagine that this piano episode, I feature some of Lewis Cole song. And, I'm an amateur piano lover, I'm totally in a beginning level, I think, or just an amateur. And I don't have any, I'd say, the formal piano lessons. Actually, when I was kid like before elementary school kind of time, when I was kid, so let's say 5 years old or something, I visited piano school once or twice, or maybe a week. I don't know, I don't remember, but I didn't continue the acoustic piano lessons. My parents bought us, for me and for my little brother, electric keyboard. Yamaha, a maker, is famous for piano and the keyboards. They make a kind of copy electric organ they call Electron. It's a copy of Hammond. there are upper keyboard, lower keyboard, and the pedal keyboard. And kids like me, I went to the Yamaha's electron school for like 4 years. So in a sense, I learned some of basics for keyboards, but it's not for piano. But that was fun, right? I really missed it. Sometimes I wondered if, but at that time, I don't hate, but I don't like practicing around that time, and I hardly prepare any homeworks for this practice. So once a week, I visited the electron school room, but I don't practice almost nothing, so that I just try to play at that place in front of teachers. Yeah, I was a bad student, but that was at least that was fun. And sometimes, after all, as you can listen to my program, I love jazz music very much. And I wonder, if I learn, even for this first 4 years, that was elementary school kids. In the lessons, teacher teach kids how to improvise. At that time, I don't know anything about jazz. I have no idea, those cool stuff. Just following a textbook or the teachers. And of course, I think the teacher was good at the, jazz playing. I think that she hardly play those advanced one in front of kids, students, I think. Yeah, sometimes she just do some fancy thing, but we couldn't recognize what's going on, right? So, yeah. But sometimes I wondered, if I continue learning, studying those things, that might be, or not. Yeah, as I said, it is totally lost in the context. So, yeah. Anyway, why I'm talking there? Yeah, this piano practice episode I'm talking now, right? And so I have some very, very basics of the keyboard in a way, but I just stopped in a very early level. And since then, I don't do any study practice. I'm just playing for myself. So it's a self-taught thing, and that is not good, I think. And I need to find maybe some good teacher to learn if I really want to do something better. But anyway, I'm doing by my own way, practicing the songs I love. And 28th episode, I recorded this showing you how far I'm doing or in the current status, exposing my current status of my practicing. And in this episode, I try a new repertoire from a Louis Cole song. From his old record, I love a song called The Big Green Suitcase. There, he featured his piano playing. I like that song, and I like to play that. There is no, sheet music or score, so I'm trying to transcribe as well as practicing. If you have some score or something, please give me. Transcribing is always hard. I don't have a good skill for that. And that is the main reason why I wrote a program called Waon, and transcribing helper program. And that is a main theme of my book entitled Music and Math. I finished writing that book 2 years ago, I think. And oh, by the way, I just saw some research paper preprint about this music transcription stuff. It said that there is some new technique picking up frequency of audio signal in a new way using a technique of gradient descent calculation, heavily used in the deep learning stuff. I didn't read the paper. I just downloaded it, and I'm curious about that. Because basically, my program one is doing frequency domain analysis, of course, to finding notes. Obviously, spectrogram shows the frequency. So I'm just wondering, what's the breakthrough, the accuracy is not excellent in my experience, but with some trick, not only using power spectrum, but we have also phase information too. Power spectrum is amplitude information, but oscillation have phase information as well. And picking a frequency, usually people use the spectrum, power spectrum, power meaning the amplitude information only. But there is unused phase information as well in the signal. We may use that information to modify, to fix, to adjust more than the conventional power spectrum analysis. That was used in my program, and the result is good, especially for the lower register sound. So I'm just wondering, this new technique, is it better than that? Or is it really breakthrough in a practical transcription scheme? So I will read and play with the algorithm if I can. And hopefully, maybe, if I got some interesting result, I will talk about that later sometimes. I just saw the paper, and it's interesting too. Anyway, so while I'm talking, okay, so this is a recap of my Japanese episode so far, right? And now I'm in the 28th, okay, the piano episode. And as I said, okay, that's the fourth, but of course I have a normal talk show type episode. In summary, I have 5 categories. Normal talk show kind of thing, piano session, Music+Talk, and talking about the Music+Talk episode, and this English episode. In cycle, that is a good way, for making variation and try to avoid getting bored, right? So then the 29th, last episode, that was published in the November 6th. So it's already 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I need to release some episode. Yes, and the last episode, Japanese talk show episode, I talk about some daily normal talk things. Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago, I just said, right? Before that episode, a week ago, so that from now, that was almost 3 weeks ago, I hurt my back. It's not sudden breakdown kind of thing, but it's gradually getting worse in a day, 3 weeks ago. And I was in the bad phase of my back. And that lasts over a week, almost 2 weeks, I think. Now, finally, I'm getting recovered, almost, but it's still not good. Maybe because of my age, as well as this weather, winter, cold weather, I think. I need to practice. But okay, so in the last episode, one of the topic I was talking there is about my back pain and the other stuff I talk. So those are my Japanese episodes since the last English episode. And yeah, I like to talk about some mystery that was closely, I suspect, that was closely related to the English episode, especially the 25th episode, I guess. That is the last, after a week from this 25th episode released, last English episode, this podcast program gets some attention from general audience, and this program getting the ranking of this podcast. This is a Japanese website called podcastranking.jp. I think this is just referring Apple's podcast ranking, I guess, so that this is happening in this Apple podcast world. My podcast, this Music and Math podcast, get ranked in this personal journal category as well as the higher categories too. I don't know why. And Anchor provides some analytics information where the audience is coming, kind of thing. And I thought, because at that time, the latest episode was the English episode, so that it must be the reason. The English episode is the key, I thought. meaning that the audience is coming not from Japan but from the worldwide audience is getting my episode. But this anchor's analytic information shows nothing special of those behavior. Majority of my listeners are from Japan, almost 90%. So I have no idea why this gets so attention. The scale of this attention was like over 10 times attention. Yeah, so there must be some reason, and I want to know. Just curiosity, I'm not seeking attention. I'm not a popular guy. I knew that. So that's not the reason, but I'm just curious what was happening. But I have no idea so far. So this episode I'm now recording, this would give me some insight. This is the next English episode. If the English episode is the key, maybe I got some reaction from the audience. If you have some idea, please give me the reason. I'm wondering, maybe Japanese people want to listen English episode somehow, talking by Japanese like me, So a broken English is their favorite episode. I don't know. I don't think so. But anyway, yeah, that was a big mystery since the last English episode, 25th episode. And is that it? Is there any other talk I want to talk now? Okay, today it's November 19th, Saturday weekend. So today I have some project. At some episode I talk about this one as a hobby. I'm doing a kind of gardening, not exactly gardening, but the gardening project I have. That is, I'm growing some fruit. The point of this planting thing is that it's a DIY planting growing project, meaning that I don't buy tree, I don't buy the grown one. I start from seed. And I don't buy seed, I just bought I grow right now. I have apple trees and strawberries. Those two are my current project. And for those things, the starting is going to the supermarket. You spend just a daily life, and sometimes you have an apple in your kitchen, right? And we eat apple. And we got seed in it, out of it, right? And I keep it. And I just put it on a vase and pouring water, so it start growing. That is DIY planting project of mine. And so far I have 3 apple trees and several strawberries. Strawberries too. I eat strawberries, and on the surface of strawberry, you have seeds, many of them. Pick those things with the tweezers and keep it and put it on the soil, and they start growing. It's amazing. Those small seeds, we get the strawberry. So far, right now, I have a 2-year-old apple tree, 2 of them, and a 1-year-old apple tree. So in total, I have 3 apple trees in front of my room. And for the strawberry, that was also, I think, 2 years, I guess. It get over 1 winter time, I think. Yeah. And for strawberry, they, how say in English? At the beginning, of course, I grow those strawberries 4 seeds start growing. So I have 4 of them originally. Those are from the seeds, but after a while, they just grow some runner. I don't know how you call it. So after some point, it's growing by themselves without seeds. So it's easy to get a lot of strawberries if you have. But still, I don't have any strawberries yet. It's just a 1-year-old, I think. Maybe next year, I hope I got some strawberries. Apple trees, I don't know how many years we need. In Japan, we have is it a song or a kind of proverb, phrase? 桃栗3年、柿8年。なんかその後まだ続く。It's going on other things, meaning that 桃、peach, and the栗, walnut, I don't know. 栗, those takes 3 years to ripen the fruit. Kaki, persimmon, need 8 years to get that kind of thing. So I'm wondering how many years we need to get the apple from the seed. If you have information, okay, I can Google it maybe. But if you have some tips, and for apple, especially in US people, American people, you have a history, right? Johnny Appleseed story. I just heard those Johnny Appleseed, the title, but I don't know the details. And I think you guys know better than me about the apple trees, apple seed, that kind of thing. So please give me tips how to grow the apples. And today I have a project. It's growing, and I put in a pottery pot because I don't trust, my garden's soil quality. Especially, I'm growing fruit for eating, so I'm planting those things on a pot, and it's growing bigger and bigger. And so the last weekend, I went to some gardening store and bought bigger pots. So today I'm switching from a smaller pot to the bigger pot for trees and the strawberries too. And it's done. That was today's project. So it's done, and I hope that they're ready for winter. Apple trees, just, leaves are falling down in the winter time. It start falling. Strawberry, they just get over the winter time under the snow. Normally I just leave it. It's okay, I think. So maybe next year I hope I get a strawberry. When I get, definitely I talk to you guys how good or not so good. I don't know. We'll see. Those are the talk, I think. What else I can talk, especially in this English? It shouldn't be an interesting story. Yeah, what do you think about this Twitter situation, you guys? I am a kind of an old Twitter user, I think. I created my Twitter account in 2010. So it's 12 years I'm in Twitter. How about you? Now, as you can see, Elon Musk took over. The things are changing. Many engineers are leaving, and the people are scared about the continuation of this system. I'm not so worried about that. Meaning that, is there any chance that Twitter someday just stop working? I don't think so, but who knows? So, what do you think? Are you going to go some other place? I'm wondering, these days I'm a programmer, and I'm an engineer working as a programmer engineer in a small IT company here in Japan, Kanazawa, in the middle of nowhere in Japan, in a countryside. So I know basic things, and these days some people are talking about so-called the Web3 stuff, or I should say DAO, DAO, Decentralized Autonomous Organization. That sounds interesting to me. Beside the Web3 stuff, as a concept, decentralized autonomous organization, isn't it interesting? And how to build those organizations? I said I run a community of AI technology stuff, another podcast program, right? Not only a podcast program, this group having online meeting, Zoom meeting once a month. That is the main activities. Yes, that is a kind of a organization, right? Community. And how to run, how to make a good community. That is a very difficult problem, difficult task. It's not easy, and there is, I think, I don't know the recipe or direction how to do that. If you follow this direction, you can get a good community. There is no such recipe, I think. In that point of view, I'm just curious about the concept, decentralized, autonomous organization, how to build that. And this Twitter thing is somehow connected to that thinking in myself. So yeah, why people are getting in Twitter? That is one question I'm asking to myself. Why people are gathering in Twitter, even though people somehow hate some aspect of Twitter, but they still hanging in this world of Twitter. It's a community, definitely. So why people are coming? So it's a community, and people think it's a good community, I think, in a way. Although there is some bad side or some bad people there too, but there is a good side. That's why people are there. And it's in a bigger scale, in a worldwide scales. But on the other hand, my community is a very local scale. Even though after COVID-19 situation, we switch from the real gathering meeting to the online meeting format. Basically, the community is very local one, with a few people, not many. So it's two extremes, Twitter in a worldwide and my community in a local. Yeah, just wondering. And also, this topic, DAO of the Web3. Yeah, the question we should ask is that DAO of Web3, is it what we want for this community stuff? And my personal answer is that it's not. It's just another Twitter or Facebook or whatever. The builder, framework, creator want to rule, even though they put autonomous or decentralized in the wording. But so why, how can we make decentralized communities or this autonomous community in a good way? I'm thinking always the internet, the foundation of those, the Twitters or whatever, even a Web3 stuff. Those are based on the internet, and the internet is basically free infrastructures like an air, right? Or water. On top of it, people make business, right? But for Twitter, for example, the company Twitter create a field, and for user like us can use it freely. But as you know, we individuals are their content, and we are the merchandise. The company Twitter is selling us to the company. So the Twitter is the advertisement agency kind of business model, and that is totally different from internet provider position, right? Yeah, as I said, internet is free, but we are paying for the provider of the internet or the cell phone companies for some kind of fee using internet, right? But those internet providers are not the advertiser, right? And on the internet, anybody can build a business. Is it possible? I mean, so maybe internet itself is not good enough for making a community. That's why people are making Twitter, Facebook, social network framework. But I'm old guy, so I knew that before Twitter, before Facebook, there is the internet, of course, and there is a blog and that kind of thing. And what's the difference? And I'm always going back to that phase and wondering how right now, 2020 age, 21st century, what is the good internet? Just thinking, I'm not the guy who make some revolution kind of thing, but I'm just wondering, at least I think the current situation is not good. But what is the thing we want? That question, the basic question, should be the one we should focus on first, I think. Anyway, it's getting boring, I think, in that topic, so I stopped talking and wrapping up this English episode at this point. So we'll see, what the reaction is happening, and if I got some second attention from the audience, maybe English is the key. If that is the case, maybe I make more English episode, but my guess is it's not the case, so I will make episode in those 5 types of episode in a cycle or some way. So, okay, yes, that's it. Thanks for listening, and I always said peace and love at the end. The one of the reason I start talking, the reason of this English episode, why I started English episode in my personal podcast program is that at that time, Ukraine's stuff happened, and I worried about that very much, and that's the reason. Peace and love, those words are simple, but it's also important. I think nobody, especially in Japan, nobody's talking explicitly about peace or love. Maybe because we're shy. And as I mentioned earlier, I think at some point somewhere, I'm saying the peace and love every time in this episode. I can say that in English, but in my language, Japanese, can I say 平和と愛を? It's a bit, awkward. So I understand why, as I said, maybe we're shy or we're not an adult enough. But it's not good, I think. We should overcome those weaknesses. I think that's another reason why I always say loudly peace and love at the end of this episode. But peace and love, and live long and prosper. That is also important, right? And be happy. Peace.